Okay, so today's talk is on living out loud, and we will start with a couple of poems. This first one is by Jerome Rothenberg. He actually didn't write this. This is an edited version of a Crow Indian battle cry. Act like a crazy dog. Wear sashes and other fine clothes, carry a rattle, and dance along the roads, singing crazy dog songs after everybody else has gone to bed. Talk crosswise, say the opposite of what you mean, and make others say the opposite of what they mean in return. Fight like a fool by rushing up to an enemy and offering to be killed. Dig a hole near an enemy, and when this enemy surrounds it, leap out at them and drive them back. Paint yourself white, mount a white horse, cover its eyes, and make it jump down a steepy and rocky bank until both of you are crushed. And then Rumi kicks in. Where is a foot worthy to walk a garden, or any eye that deserves to look at trees? Show me a man willing to be thrown in the fire. In the shambles of love, they kill only the best, none of the weak or deformed. Don't run away from this dying. Whoever's not killed for love is dead meat. Tonight, with wine being poured and instruments singing among themselves, one thing is forbidden, one thing, sleep. Two strong impulses, one, to drink long and deep, the other, not to sober up too soon. And that's what Rumi has to say about wildness. So now here's what I have to say about wildness. Because I have a very interesting relationship to living out loud. I was born loud. I was born loud. I have been loud since I was a kid. People have been shushing me my entire life. People have been saying to me, shush, calm down. I laugh loud, I speak loud, and I even sneeze loud. Ask Ash, she says every time I sneeze, it hurts her ears. As a kid, I was always in trouble. Teachers were always saying, you're talking too much, you're talking too loud, calm down. In 7th grade, I'm in the back, the last row of a 500-seat auditorium that is filled with kids. The 7th grade assistant principal is on stage talking in the mic, and I am whispering to the kids sitting next to me when all of a sudden the assistant principal stops what he's saying and says, Clifford Rubin, go to the office. You are suspended for talking in the auditorium. I am so loud that on one of our very first dates, Ashley and I went to the movies. And afterwards, she was not sure she could date me any further because I was so loud in how I laughed and how I whispered in the movies. Now, since then, she is so brilliant that she has grown beyond that and grown into the idea that I have offered her the opportunity of growing into her own free spirit as I have grown into mine. And obviously this fairy tale has turned out beautifully as we are now engaged to be married and will be married a year from now. And I've already found the place we're going to get married in. But back when I was a kid, everywhere I was ostracized from other kids. Nobody really wanted to be around me a lot. I was way too loud and energetic for everyone. So I thought, when I became a teenager, I thought, well, where is it that a loud person can be? And so I thought, rock and roll, right? Rock and roll is loud. I should fit in easily in rock and roll. So I started a band, and we went out and played, and we did really well, and we started in New York City. We started getting all these gigs and working our way up through the food chain until we had managers and record labels looking at us. And then one day I'm at this club where the club owner did something that I felt was just simply unjust. It was just unjust. And in my way of being, I stood my ground and I said, what you are doing here is unjust. And I might have said it a little loudly because I'm a loud guy. And so I woke up the next morning with close to 30 voice messages on my answering machine, canceling every one of my gigs in New York City. From every club, I was banned. And so I called Foreigners Management Company 3,000 miles away in LA. And they said, we have heard of you, and you are difficult to work with, so we'll pass. That's how loud I have been at. So for a while I went out into the woods. I decided, forget this, I'll go howl with the coyotes and play with the bears. And that's exactly what I did for a while in the woods. But I missed people. So I came out of the woods and I decided, and I wound up walking into a Science of Mind center where they taught me that I am whole, perfect, and complete, just the way I am, even loud, except maybe keep it down during the meditations. And they pointed out to me what has turned out to be one of my favorite bumper stickers, said by Laurel Thatcher Earlrich. Well-behaved women seldom make history. That is certainly true for men as well. And so I got involved in the Science of Mind and stayed loud and boisterous, and they started inviting me up on stage to sing. And then other centers started inviting me up to stage and sing. And I started taking classes, and I became a practitioner. And one day as a practitioner, I got a vision for a virtual center for spiritual living. And I called the office, and it said, I have an idea for a virtual center for spiritual living. And they said, well, we don't really have any policies and procedures for that. Why don't you just be a focused ministry? Now, a focused ministry has less rights and privileges than a full-fledged center. And so I said, no, in my loud way of doing things. I stand for this being a center. And so finally they said, well, why don't you start out as a teaching chapter, which has most of the rights and privileges you're looking for to move forward in your work. And I said, okay. And then I went on and became a licensed minister and went back to home office and said, okay, now I'm ready to be a full-fledged center. I am a licensed minister. And they said, well, we don't really have policies and procedures for that. Why don't you be a focused ministry? And I said, no. I run my center like a brick and mortar center. And so they finally came back to me and said, okay, we're going to create a brand new category called virtual communities. And how about you be on the committee to write those policies and procedures? And so by living out loud and making the stand I have made, I have actually moved a movement in the direction of the larger world. And that is what is possible for any one of us. Because each of us comes with our own unique gift. Our own unique gift. Now, I have so far only been talking about living out loud through the volume of voice, which has been my thing and the strength of my stand. But there's other ways of living out loud. It's not just volume. It's speaking up instead of going along. It's wearing wild clothes. It's painting outside the box. It's living outside the box. Each of us has a unique gift that only we can bring to the planet. No one else can bring the gift that we have to bring. Only we can do that. And so in that sense that we are bringing our gift, it is up to us to not allow anybody else or even ourselves press it into an adult box that doesn't fit. Living out loud means spreading your wings. And to do that, you have to break free of any bonds that you have placed on yourself in terms of what you believe is possible. Dr. Ernest Holmes tells us spirit is never bound by the form it takes and is not affected by any apparent cause or condition, but is forever free. Bondage and freedom are but the two possibilities of our use of the law. Let us affirm freedom, not bondage. This is ours to walk, but to do it we must stand tall, because I tell you now that when you live out loud, you will ruffle feathers. There will be folks who say you cannot do that. You may have a voice in your own head saying, maybe I should calm down and do this differently. It's up to you to make that stand that says, I will not calm down. I will stand for what I believe in. I will spread my wings and fly. Nelson Mandela tells us there is no easy walk to freedom anywhere. And many of us will have to pass through the valley of the shadow of death again and again before we reach the mountaintop of our desires. It is up to us to not sell out, to not take the easy way out, to not go along, but instead know for ourselves that we do have this unique gift. So we must, of course, bring it uniquely. And it may not fit into any way in which anyone else may see it should. Stand. Live out loud. Spread your wings and fly. Let's do a meditation on it. Sit back, take a deep breath, and relax. And as we do here, find yourself on a path. It is the perfect path. It is your path. The sights, the sounds, how it feels against your skin, how it feels against your feet. It is perfect and easy, a relaxed, beautiful walk. It brings you to an opening. It is your sanctuary. And this sanctuary can look and feel and be any way that is perfect for you. Maybe it's in your home, maybe it's on the beach, maybe it's in the woods, maybe it's up in the clouds. It's your sanctuary. And there's a chair there. It is the perfect chair. Go and sit in it and feel the sitting in your chair. And from this place of relaxed contemplation, feel how free you are, or if there are any bonds holding you back. Notice for yourself where you are not living it. And imagine those ways in which you're not as bonds binding you. And feel those bonds fall away. Feel those bonds, anything that holds you back. Feel it wash away. And breathe in the freedom that is your birthright. The freedom to bring your gift to life as only you can. Feel anything. Take another deep breath and relax even deeper as you feel anything that might even remotely be holding you back. fall away as your wings spread farther and farther, as you breathe in that freedom, that the fullness of breath, the fullness of life, the fullness of who you have come here to be. Take another deep breath and breathe it in even deeper. As you release anything, absolutely anything, that may even slightly be holding you back from the full expression of who you came. Thank yourself for this deeper experience of freedom, expression of you. Thank yourself for stepping up even more to living out loud. When you're ready, open your eyes.